Remember hearing you must eat your vegetables when you were a kid? For some of you, eating your vegetables is still a struggle. Well, I guarantee today's lesson is going to change all that. You'll learn the technique for blanching, the trick to enhancing the flavor of beans the next time you serve crudité, and how combining seasonal vegetables in a tienne will not only yield more vitamins, but will also taste better when baked until meltingly tender. I'll show you how surprisingly simple it is to steam an artichoke for a delectable treat. Also, learn the best way to bring out the natural sweetness of peppers. They're so good you'll be tempted to include them in your next sandwich, antipasto, or your favorite salad. Now, this might seem very, very basic to many of you, but indeed, if you follow these steps, you will have perfectly beautiful, crispy vegetables for your crudité and for the rest of your meal. And now we're going to start with the mildest of the vegetables in front of me, snow peas. Snow peas should be flat and green with just a little hint of the actual peas inside. And for preparation, basically, that's the stem end. Just pull and get that little tiny string off the pea. This can be done the morning of a meal or a party. It can even be done the day before, but not too much more in advance. Now, on a stove, bring a big pot of water to a raging boil. Add, about a teaspoon of salt. The salt really does help flavor the vegetables. Same thing goes for the sugar snaps. If they have a stem end on, just break that off. We have purple beans, which are very pretty, but when you cook them, they get a little paler. Now, yellow beans, I love these. They're also known as wax beans. See how beautiful they are, a uniform color, plump, crispy. They should snap when you snap them, just like that. They should not look like this. This is a bean that should be thrown away. That's not what you want to buy. You want to buy firm, crispy beans. These are Artichokes, very fine string beans. That too, just pull off the stem end. And some people don't even like this little point and cut that off too. I actually like the little points, so I leave them on, especially for crudité. So let's put the snow peas into the boiling water. Now these will stay in from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. This is blanching. Now look what's happened already. Look at the color. These are so beautiful. Okay, now here I have a large bowl filled with iced water and a strainer right inside. Okay, these are already blanched, and now we're going to shock them, or another thing to call this is refresh them in the iced water. So you can do a whole lot of vegetables quickly this way. Just keep a little assembly line going. So while those shock, put in your snap peas. Now, while those are in for 45 seconds to a minute, shake the excess water off your snow peas and put them on a baking sheet that has a towel on it. So these are ready. Really crispy, but tasty. The flavor has really come out. You can do all of this in the morning before your party, and they'll look very, very nice at 6 o'clock for cocktails. Now look at the color. So amazing. There's a big transformation right into the ice bath. Now, don't start with the purple. The purple are going to lose their color. Start with the lightest color of the string beans. That would be the wax bean. Now, I have a rack here because I don't want any moisture on the vegetables. Notice I put a piece of plastic wrap over the cookie sheet, a cake rack, and then another towel. And you can just take your peas and lay them out in a very thin pile. And they're not quite dry. A little moisture is okay, but they don't want to be sitting in water. And I would just put that up like that. Now, beans are going to take a little bit longer than peas. The way I test is when I put them in, they were kind of stiff. It's sort of like asparagus. If they flop a little bit, I feel that they're done enough. These are flopping. So now that can go right into the ice water. Refresh the ice water, add more ice cubes if the ice cubes start to melt. Now the Artichokes, Now, haricot verts, despite their thinness, are a little tough, so they might take a little bit longer than a wax bean to cook. Now, I love what happened to the wax beans. You see the color is really, really pretty. Another thing that I do with string beans or any of these can then, like the sugar snaps, if you want to serve them with your dinner, keep them cool like this, then put them in a tiny bit of very hot water in a skillet with a tablespoon of butter, salt, pepper, heat them up that way, and you have perfectly cooked vegetables. Okay, so here we go with the wax beans, the haricot verts. As I said, these take a little bit longer. The purple string beans. Oh, now look at the color. Now, if that could only say, but the purple vegetables that are becoming very popular now, purple cauliflower, purple broccoli, they all kind of fade in the water. See, they don't maintain that gorgeous color, but they're still tasty. Someone, a hybridizer, if they work on this and get the string bean to stay purple, wow, would that be great. Okay, so now, make sure the moisture is gone, and then you can start arranging these. So make little piles in your hand and choose pretty glasses. This is just one way to serve these blanched vegetables. Have patience, don't rush, enjoy what you're doing. And we're serving our crudité with a delicious cucumber ranch dip. So if you're blanching vegetables like broccoli, make sure you cut that vegetable all to uniform size if you're going to be doing blanching like this. Oh, this is starting to look just amazing, I think. Need a few more sugar snaps here in this glass, and you have a very healthy and delicious crudité. Enjoy. A lesson in vegetable preparation wouldn't be complete without a recipe for a tian. A tian is a traditional dish from Provence. It's named for the earthenware baking dish in which the vegetables are cooked. Now for this tian, I've looked for firm, small to medium vegetables. Skin on squash should be unblemished, nice and firm, no soft spots. And cut off the stem end as well as the end of the vegetable, and cut in uniform slices. I'm using a chef's knife for this. Make sure you get the same thickness of slices for all the vegetables. So here we have these lovely yellow squash. Now, if you're going to use eggplant, and I think eggplant is very delicious in a tian, don't choose this kind of Italian eggplant. Look for the Japanese if you can. This doesn't really need to be salted. The salt brings out the excess bitterness from the flesh. So try to find the Japanese eggplant. And this too, cut off that little end. So this is a very pretty eggplant. It's a nice color skin and a very white, mild flesh. If you're growing eggplants, try to grow some of these Japanese purple eggplants as well as white eggplants. And they also come in a kind of a lime green skin now. Farmers are growing extraordinary produce. Here's our zucchini. Now you can, if you want to make a very delicate tian, slice the vegetables half this thickness, like 1/8 of an inch. And those look very pretty. You can cook individual tians in small ramekins to serve with rack of lamb. They're very pretty too. And tomatoes, vine ripened, of course. I'm using plum tomatoes because I find them less juicy but still very flavorful, and they have a lot of meat. This is a country tian that I'm making. That's my excuse for making it as simple as possible, country. I'm going to use the rectangular earthenware dish. It looks nice with what I'm serving. Just some grilled fish tonight. Oh, and here's a red onion. Oh, this is a perfect onion. Lovely. A sharp knife is essential when cutting vegetables like this. A garlic clove cut in half. Just the flavor of garlic rubbed in the bottom of a dish imparts a terrific flavor in the tian. And now a tiny bit of olive oil. So now it's time to assemble. I'm going to start with the onion and tomato. I'm going to put them in the middle of the dish. And salt and pepper as you go along so that the vegetables do get flavor. And now on the sides, I'll do yellow squash, eggplant, green squash. So here we have our layering going on. And now just sprinkle over the leaves of some fresh thyme. You can put a few branches of thyme on the top and a few torn leaves of marjoram. So now a little bit more olive oil. But that is a vegetable tian. Now before I put this into a 400-degree preheated oven, I'm just going to put a few garlic cloves on top. These will roast in the skins, and then you'll have them to squeeze out on the bread that you're going to serve with dinner. So there, 400 degrees for 25 minutes. You can baste with the pan juices and a brush, and then bake for another 25 minutes. And then you have a real tian. And I have so many vegetables left over, I'm going to make another in this oval dish. I think that'll be pretty too. I think our tian are done. Oh yes, they smell extra good. Oh boy, look at how beautiful these are. Not only are they good hot out of the oven, but they're also good later on today and even tomorrow. Tian, a very versatile way to use a lot of those vegetables. Once you learn how to make it, you can vary the ingredients. Whatever you choose, it's always good. Artichokes are high in magnesium and vitamin A, vitamin C, and very, very rich in fiber. Once you know how to prepare them, you're going to discover how delicious they really are. So I'm taking off just about a ½ an inch of the top of the artichoke. And then for steaming and eating, take off the stem right below the lower level of leaves. Snap off any smallish leaves. And hear that snap? Fresh. That's a sign of freshness. So these can all, you can save the stems and steam them too. They're very good. But these are so big that I don't think we're going to really need any extra artichoke. Now, with your kitchen shears, just take off that tip of the leaf. Each leaf has a thorn. Artichokes are a thistle. And if allowed to go to seed, they become great, big, beautiful, thistle-like flowers on the stem. And so there you have it. I like to loosen the leaves. Down inside is the core, which you will remove when it's cooked, and also the heart. The stem is the beginning of the heart that's inside, very meaty part of the artichoke. So now, if you're doing lots of these, immediately immerse the trimmed artichoke in a bowl of acidulated water, which is just cold water with lots of lemon in it. So these were prepared a little while ago, and they have not browned at all. So this is good. We have a steamer basket inserted into this pan, and these are going to cook for approximately 40 minutes. So make sure you have enough water in your pan, and the water is salted. So just put this cut side down on the steamer basket. We'll do 3 of these artichokes at a time because actually that's all I have room for in this pot. So if you're going to do 6, do 2 pots, and you'll save time. Cover 40 minutes. Artichokes are best used the day that you purchase them, but they can be stored unwashed in a bowl in the refrigerator for up to 4 days. I like to cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap or even a dish towel. The peak season for eating artichokes grown in America is from March through May. And if you'd like to add a little bit more flavor to your artichoke, just throw in a little bunch of herbs. This is tarragon, and I just want to infuse a little bit more flavor in there. So that's the beginning of the cooking process. In 40 minutes, they'll be ready. Now these look done, but you must test. So poke the stem end with a knife. Oh, see how easily that inserts right into the stem end? And then I suggest pulling off a leaf and testing it for doneness with your teeth. The flesh comes right off. Very tasty. Okay, they're ready to come out. And I suggest taking them out with a pair of tongs and putting them right side up. Cooking them upside down actually is a good way to do it because they don't get water soaked. They don't have a chance to get all soggy. These taste so good. Let them cool a little tiny bit while you prepare your melted butter. So we're going to make some tarragon butter right now. And per artichoke, sounds like a lot, but half stick of butter per person. They're not going to eat it all, so don't worry. Just melt this with a little bit of tarragon. Just the leaves cut into little pieces. You don't have to finely chop it or anything. Now, another thing that you could do is a little bit of lemon juice into the butter. Half a lemon's fine. And these squeezers are great because they don't let any pits get in there. Very excellent. And I want to serve the artichokes on these beautiful oval dishes. We have some creamy, thick vinaigrette for those of you who don't like melted butter, and this little dish is for the melted butter. So now ready to prepare the artichokes. This is spreading nicely. You know that it's very well cooked. Take the center out, and these come out nicely just by pinching them. See that? Now, I don't throw that away. I eat the little ends, but... And then with a spoon, just gently scrape down to the heart. That's what you're taking out. That's the thistly, sharp part of the artichoke. Just throw that into the waste bowl. It's not edible. Now, you can serve it like this. You can put a pretty thin slice of lemon down on the inside, like that. And here's our butter already melted. Divide that evenly amongst all the cups. And that's your artichoke presentation. There are many, many ways to enjoy artichokes, but this is probably the simplest and the one I like the best. Enjoy. Sweet bell peppers come in many colors. They come in red and orange and yellow. They also come in purple and white and even brown, also green. These are my favorites for roasting on the fire. When roasted, they become sweeter and more supple and almost silky in texture. Let me show you first how to roast a pepper. Now, if you have a gas stove, that's great because you just put the pepper right on the gas flame like that. I just turn them all on and I roast a whole lot of peppers at one time. And this is not something that you do when you get distracted and walk away. Stay around the peppers. You can hear the skin spluttering, charring, bubbling. Now you can also roast on a grill very nicely. It gets a nice flavor too if you're doing a wood fire. You can also roast under a broiler. That's about the 3 best ways for accomplishing this simple task. You'll see we're going to get these peppers black on the outside. Now, green peppers have a little bit thinner skin, so they don't work really, really well as roasters. See how they're getting black? That's what you're looking for, but all over black. It's incredible how it does not burn the flesh, only the skin. And to loosen the skin, well, there are many different ways to do that. You can put the pepper in a paper bag and sweat it. Sweating allows the skin to come off even easier. You can sweat inside a piece of paper towel, which is my preferred way. You can also sweat the peppers in a bowl like this, covered with plastic wrap. Look at all the moisture on that plastic wrap. That's sweating. Oh, these are looking very good. Look at this one. Oh, almost done. This one is pretty much 100% blackened. I can turn off that flame. Now, this is my favorite way of doing this. Take a piece of paper towel, wrap the pepper, and you'll see why I'm using paper towel in a few seconds. Put that right in a bowl like that. Okay, so this one can go over here. So now we have our peppers roasted. This is the sweated pepper in a bowl. Uncover it, take it out. Use the plastic wrap if you like. I always like to work on something because this black stuff is really, really strong. Now, the skin comes right off. Look what's left underneath. Isn't that beautiful? That's your roasted pepper. So that's one way of doing it. Now here, this one's been sweating in paper toweling, and this is what I like to do. I just use the paper to pull off all the charred skin. Everything stays right in the piece of paper. It's neater. If you wash underwater, you would be taking away a tremendous amount of the flavor that you've imparted to the pepper itself by roasting it. So here, that's your pepper. Work on a clean board, and then what I like to do is cut the pepper in half. Take the stem end out and discard. Make sure that you cut also all the veins out of the pepper. Messy job, but somebody has to do it. Remove all the seeds. So here we have a beautiful pepper. Keep going until you have all the different colors peeled, seeded, and quartered. Just toss them with some olive oil and balsamic vinegar, a little chiffonade of basil. To chiffonade basil, that's the very thin slivers of basil leaves, just stack 4 or 5 leaves on top of one another and roll the leaves up like that. Very simple. And then, with a very sharp knife, just cut into very fine slivers. This will save you a lot of time by rolling and doing more than one leaf at a time. And it looks pretty, but this has to be done right before serving because you don't want these basil leaves to darken. There. And when you fluff that up, look, all pretty little chiffonade. Hard to tell what it is until you taste it. Okay, so because I'm leaving these in quarters, I just think it's pretty in an antipasto. Layer in a bowl. Alternating colors. So beautiful. And sprinkle with olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper, little chiffonade. People love the taste of roasted peppers. And toss if you like. So pretty. Put that on your buffet. Just take a pepper, maybe 2, on a piece of grilled bread. How pretty does that look? A couple of olives. Oh, a slice or 2 of very good salami, and a couple of chunks of Parmesan cheese. Put that alongside your sliced steak or grilled fish, and you have a really tasty meal. So now that you know how to prep and cook vegetables, you can incorporate vegetables so well into your meals in so many different ways. Remember to always use local and seasonal ingredients when possible. I'll see you on our next lesson of Cooking School. I look forward to it.